Good afternoon. I am Dave Cronen and this is a live Q&A from ACM in Guildford. Welcome. My name is Dave Cronen, as I've just said. I'm the Business Development Specialist and a Business Lecturer at ACM Guildford and Clapham. I'm here this afternoon to present an overview about the BA Honours degree that ACM offer and explain the role of the Business Department within Industry Link at ACM. I'm also going to give you a bit of a background to my musical industry experience and explain why I believe it's important to apply this experience to my lectures and the business degree as a whole. Finally, I'm also going to explain the day-to-day roles of an artist manager, as well as give you an idea of a couple of the business modules that we've recently been working on. But as I discussed, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview to my career, just to give you an understanding of what I've done within the industry and how that sort of is applied to ACM. So in 1987, I worked at Rough Trade Records and Rough Trade Distribution. Was fortunate enough to work with bands like The Smiths, KLF, Suede, Depeche Mode, amongst many others. We were a very big independent record label and distributor at the time, and we were lucky enough to have a lot of #1 singles and a lot of #1 albums. After that, I had a couple of opportunities working at labels like Beachwood Music and Pias in Brussels, where I set up international departments for them and specialised in overseas licensing and distribution deals for both companies. After that, I was headhunted by the Beastie Boys and worked with the Beastie Boys and set up the Grand Royal Records label in London as part of the European setup for the band and the label. And then after that, on the advice of Mike D from the Beastie Boys, I set up my own artist management company called Trust Management, which was based in London, recently at Rec Studios in London, and has been going for 16 years. There's a slide on screen now and just gives you an overview of some of the bands that I've worked with in my career, sort of recently and right in the past, to give you an overview of the type of music I've been involved in, mostly independent, which I'm very, very proud of indeed. The first point is why lecture at ACM, why come from the music industry into ACM. The first point, as patronising as it sounds, it's all about the students. To have the interaction with the students and have the day-to-day lectures with them and to give them the experience of someone from the coalface is really important. And it's something that I enjoy the most within my lectures at ACM and something I get the most feedback about. Also, it's important to blend academic studies with music industry experience to ensure that the students graduate with not just a degree, but with a thorough understanding of the current music industry, as well as first-hand experience of it. I'm also proud to be part of a growing institution and business department within the ACM setup. And finally, most importantly, as patronising as it sounds again, it's all about the music. We're called the Academy of Contemporary Music, and everything that we do on a day-to-day basis has to be about the music. The next point I want to explain and again give an overview on the Industry Cube, which I'm proud to be part of. The ACM Industry Cube is based in Guildford and works with students who are looking for opportunities and specialised experience at any level within the creative industry. The Industry Cube consists of individuals who have many years of experience in their own field, including Ace from Skunk Anansie, Kieran Pepper from Prodigy, Kaya Carney, singer, songwriter and voice specialist, Dave Cronen, hello, Rachel Hiscock from radio, TV and media background, and Matt Russell on the live and technical side. Matt will be presenting the next live stream on Monday from the Electric Theatre in Guildford to talk about technical services and how to set up for a live show. He's also the king of prog and space, so please, please tune in. The Industry Cube, amongst many other things, can help students with the following: masterclasses, gigs, work experience, specialised development and one-to-one tutorials. In addition to this, the Industry Cube runs the following services. Discovery and Development, which is run by the majestic Darren Woodford, who works with new bands formed within ACM, who are introduced to new artist managements to work on the artist development and potential. Music Industry Bootcamp, which is a weekly opportunity for all students to attend masterclasses delivered by experienced ACM lecturers and guest speakers from the creative industry. It also helps students to network with their peers and discover other skills outside of their chosen studies. Networking events, regular events where students have the opportunity to meet individuals from the industry to expand their contact list and get direct feedback from a specialist. Finally, and most importantly, a record label. This soon-to-be launched label will be run by the Industry Cube in conjunction with Metropolis Studios in London and has a structure of a day-to-day record label and will help students to develop their careers from the starting point of the A&R process through to the release of a record into the market. And just to sort of reiterate, Metropolis Studios is part of the ACA group and we're proud to have that association with them. The Industry Cube mission statement sums up everything that we're about. To align the student experience with the music industry frameworks, to provide all students with the tools they need to transition from education to their chosen sustainable career in the music business. It's as easy as that. Next, because of my artist management background, I just want to give another overview of the day-to-day role of an artist management to give an idea of everything that a manager does, especially in sort of modern times. So this is broken down with label deals, looking for label deals with either the majors or indies and gaining investment for recording, marketing, touring and advances. Publishing deals, sourcing like record deals, publishing deals to secure long-term and short-term contracts, including advances, to maximise the administration process and negotiate a high royalty rate. Also for creative pitching and potential collaborations. A music lawyer, finding a specialist music lawyer to help source label publishing deals and cover all relevant legal agreements, including the management contract itself. Booking agents, finding an agent or agents to cover worldwide bookings for the artists. Agents who have strong relationships with all kinds of promoters for all levels of shows, festivals and tour support options. Then accountants, finding an accountant who handle all the day-to-day operating costs of a sole trader, limited company or a partnership within a group. Merch companies and web stores, working with a company who produce quality, cost-effective and creative merchandise, who can turn around stock quickly when required and supply the demand for both touring and online sales. PR, radio and TV teams, whether working with a label or independently, you need to find the right people who will represent your artist within the media to maximise the limited opportunities across the board. Potentially expensive, but get the formula right and it can really reap dividends. Web designers, finding a dedicated web designer who is punctual and creative, always prone to not understand the word deadline. You know who you are. Social media team, a social media expert who has an understanding of the current trends and platforms, who can analyse data and maximise any strengths in the campaign strategy. And schmoozing itself, outside of the work that your labels and publishers do, you have to establish and maintain relationships within the industry. Then on the live side, there's a whole host of roles that we do on the live side. The most important ones being budgeting itself and the accounting side of it. Tour managers and production managers, sourcing them for our bands and artists. Merchandise sellers, most of the time that ends up being the managers themselves. Doing visa applications, handling travel arrangements, looking at equipment endorsements and branding itself. So that is a brief overview of the day-to-day management role. If there are any more questions about management that you want to ask, please ask the questions at the end for the Q&A session and I will answer them for you. Next, there's a couple of case studies that we're doing on a business degree level that I want to just give you an overview on. The first one is a case study of At the Drive in a band that I worked with in 2000. And this has been used as case studies recently in ACM Clapham for a module called A&R Principles. So at the Drive-In, we started working with them in April 2000, and after signing them, we got the album recorded, mixed, and released pretty quick. They returned, we first saw them play in the Monarch in Camden on the 3rd of April 2000 in front of about 40 plus people. We got them to return in July where they played a sold out show at the Underworld in Camden. Then in August we released the debut single for Grand Royal called One Arm Scissor, where we achieved Single of the Week success almost instantly with Enemy, Sounds, Melody Maker and Kerrang! The album itself was released on the 12th of September that year, and the album to date has sold in excess of 200,000 records since then. Shortly after that, we secured the front cover of Enemy and Kerrang! And within a few days after that, we had the opportunity to do 2 live songs on Later with Jules Holland, which really was a game changer. Followed by a sold out Electric Ballroom show in Camden again. and then another live TV performance of Rolodex Propaganda on TFI Friday. The highlight of this campaign was the band headlining the Enemy tour at the London Astoria, which was broadcast live on Steve Lamac's show on Radio 1. So the whole purpose of giving that case study is proving what can be done on the development side of finding a band and working with them, and in a short space of time sort of crossing them over into mass media and creating a lot of record sales, physical sales at the time as well. The next one is a case study for a module that we're doing at the moment called Advanced Business Studies. This is a level 6 module, and instead of looking at a strategy for an album campaign, we chose to look at the case study of a book, an autobiography by Johnny Marr, which I was fortunate enough to work on in 2016. So the first thing that we explain with the strategy is putting the team together. This includes finding a literary agent, a publisher and an editor, a US publisher, a lawyer, and a publicist for the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world, including North America. With the setup of the campaign, the key elements for the promo that we did before publication of the book, for me the highlights were doing a Radio 5 live interview with Simon Mayo, a Newsnight interview on TV. Q Magazine did a 14-page feature on Johnny in the run-up to the publication of the book. And then a couple of weeks before the book publication itself, we did an exclusive interview with The Guardian with extracts running of the book, which really put the book on the map and gave people sort of maximum profile for Johnny as an artist and as an author. Once the book was released, we did live Q&A sessions around the UK and in North America. In the UK, we did a Q&A session at the Barbican in conjunction with The Guardian. We did one in Manchester, Johnny's hometown, and also in Birmingham, just to finish off the campaign before Christmas. We also did 4 Q&A sessions in New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco and Portland, Oregon as well, just to sort of give the Americans the same sort of press and promotional profile that a book like this deserved. And in summary, the book was the Sunday Times bestseller, and it sold in excess of 75,000 hard book copies. It was Rough Trade Book of the Year for 2016, and then 2017 it was awarded the Book of the Year at the Enemy Awards at the Brixton Academy. That's right. That's the end of the slideshow. I know it's really brief, but I hope it gives you a brief overview of what we do on the business side with the degree, but also within the Industry Cube and Business Link within ACM, Guildford, Clapham, and over the other campuses. We're going to be returning in a bit for a live Q&A session, so please feel free to send over any questions and I will answer them. The 2 stipulations here are make them easy and then make me look popular. Thank you and see you in a minute. We are going to do a Q&A live session now, so keep those questions coming. There's a few questions from YouTube. Is the UK involved in a treaty with the US? If so, what is the treaty number for a W8 tax form for TuneCore, please? There's no treaty number as such, but a W8 BEN is the tax form you need when you are earning income from the US. If you're based within the US, it's a W9, but if you need it for TuneCore, who are based in if it's TuneCore in the US, you need a W8 BEN, and if you Google that, you should be able to get the template up quite easily. I hope that answers your question. I think I know who that's from anyway, so hi. Is ACM a practical university? Ellie Amazing. Yes, it is. I can speak on the business side. Alongside the academic things that we do, the practical side of it, whether it's discovery and development, whether it's music industry boot camp, whether it's just work experience for the students, or one-to-one tutorials with people like myself and the other business tutors across the cohort, we do that a lot. So it's very practical, it's very hands-on. And what I said earlier as well about it being mixing the academic studies with the experience, it's really, really important for our students to come out from their studies with a great degree, but also an understanding of the industry and some first-hand experience as well. This helps their CV and their portfolio and giving them a sort of, hopefully an advantage when it comes to applying for a job. Question 3 from Ollie. I've applied for the Music Business of Innovation course at London ACM. Does the course help students find placements at record labels in the area, either during or after graduating? Yes, indeed. We've actually had 2 examples this week of ACM in London where we've had placements with record labels in the London area, which we're really excited about, and we're looking at working with as many labels and publishers and tour managers and promoters and booking agents as possible. And we also encourage our students to try and find as many areas within the industry that they have an interest in. Students might come in and want to be a tour manager, but at the end of their 2 years or 3 years studies, they might end up wanting to be an A&R person or working at a publisher. And we want to try and give them as many opportunities, as experiences as possible to find out what is the right aspirational path for them. So thanks for the question, Ollie. And if you've applied for it, do come to ACM London because it is just great. Mason O'Connor, hey, will I learn a lot about band management as well as record management? Yeah, absolutely, Mason. You can have tutorials with me and I will bore you to death about band management with my 33 years of experience. Sherrilyn, hey, what would you say is the best way to work for the industry as a manager, A&R, agent or any similar position? Via internship after uni or applying for full-time positions? My advice would actually do it yourself. We have opportunities within ACM to be a manager and working with bands within ACM. To also be an A&R person, you can do that. A booking agent, we can sort of find you work experiences to do it. But normally we find that if you want to be an agent, it might be best to go down the route of a promoter. A lot of the agents that I've worked with have started off as promoters and end up being agents at the end of that. So there are natural paths that you can take. And again, you know, were you to study at ACM, we can talk to you about that and give you some ideas and give you those experiences at the same time. Mystical Chick, do you offer tutorials at the Guildford campus? Oh, that's just disappeared. Yes, we do. If I'm not on the system at ACM in Guildford, then drop us an email and we do unofficial tutorials just to make sure that we can have sort of one-to-ones with people. This is from Josh. Hi Dave, I saw a video about the D&D sessions. Look great. Can you tell me more about the process works? Is it students A&Ring other students? Yes, it is. The whole point, it's you have Darren Woodford who has an overview on the D&D sessions, and Darren is based in the Guildford campus and the Clapham campus, and everything that goes through him. A lot of the business tutors also work with him as well and give students and bands and solo artists their experience and their feedback on what to do next. So with D&D, it's a great opportunity for a manager to start that process and understand the day-to-day role and how to build a profile for an artist. But also it's good for an artist or a band to know what it's like to work with a manager and to actually give over your responsibilities and put it in the hands of someone you trust. So D&D is the perfect opportunity for that. So I would thoroughly recommend it. Mason O'Connor, can I incorporate performance into my business course? Yeah, yes, you can. You need to speak to the admissions team about that and do contact them about it. There is a phone number, there is a web link at the bottom of this page, I believe, which you can do that. But there are ways of doing that. And also, as a performer, you can also have access to the business tutors and to things like Music Industry Bootcamp and Discovery and Development, including the record label, so you can blend the two of performance and business as well. I hope that answers your question, Mason. Also, just a couple of questions that we get asked a lot. Okay, sorry for the pause there. A lot of questions we get asked a lot is, when is the right time for a band to look for a manager? When I'm doing masterclasses or lectures, this question comes up a lot. And it's because when the time is right, when the band are finding themselves being too busy to be creative, where they're doing day-to-day stuff of finding emails and calls from potential labels and publishers, trying to book gigs, trying to do their social media. As they get busier and there's less time to be creative, then it's a really good time that things are going in the right direction, and to find someone who can give you that support, but also someone that you trust who can do your business on your behalf and fight your battles for you while it frees up more time to be creative. So that's the main question that we get asked. Also, new question, would it be worthwhile as a musician to know how to manage and promote yourselves? All the time, even with the help of the industry and the tutors that we have, we find it really important for business students and performance students and technical and across the whole sort of cohort to have an understanding of how to manage and promote yourselves. This is that's the whole point of ACM, so that you know how the industry works, you know how the industry changes on a day-to-day basis, and for you to have that understanding, so when you leave ACM, you have an idea, so that if you're an artist, you know what a management contract or a recording contract or a publishing contract will look like. You will know what the main terms will be, and we're here to give you that awareness, and I think that's really important, so that is a really good question. How do the elective modules get integrated into the music business courses? And if you want to learn more about one of the areas, can you do that in a tutorial? Again, speak to the admissions team or come to an open day at ACM and we can explain that to you in more details. But there are elective modules that do integrate into the music business course and work really well. But outside of there, if there's a specific area that you're focused on, that is your aspirational path, then do speak to us in the business department. And if it's not an elective module, if it's not one of your normal modules, we can find that experience and we can find that feedback for you as well. How does a typical manager deal, what does a typical manager deal look like? Sherrilyn, it's really hard to explain that within this forum. There's a lot of points that need to be covered, and it's something that we've covered within the Music Industry Bootcamp over the past couple of weeks in Guildford. We'll be doing it in Clapham soon as well. But it would take me about half an hour to go through the main points. So again, if you do want to sort of contact me through email, I can sort of give you the headlines for it, but I would just bore everyone to death if I went through the main points. Maletti, nice shirt, thank you very much. I wore it especially. Another question, what is your most rock and roll moment? This is a story that I really enjoy saying. When I worked for the Beastie Boys, and the Beastie Boys did the In the Round tour at Wembley Arena for 2 nights, we went backstage one afternoon just after soundtrack, and sitting on our sofa was Debbie Harry and Christine from Blondie and the Dalai Lama, which is very, very rock and roll. Even my mum was impressed with that at the time, and she was never impressed with anything. Are there any more questions? Can you be an independent artist and be successful? Yes, you can. And I think that if you read any of the sort of music publications or look at any of the online blogs at the moment, you'll see that the independent sector of the industry is in a really good state at the moment. That's not to say that the majors aren't doing a great job, because you look at their market share and the amount of income that they're earning, especially through streaming, they're doing an amazing job. But being an independent artist means that you can have control over your career, over your sort of creative and artistic path, and also you can have control over your business and with income streams, and you can maximise those opportunities if you're doing it for yourself. And my advice would be, if you could sort of build your own team around you and keep it tight, then being independent is a really good route to go. What type of experience opportunities have business students gained during their studies? Again, it's across the board. We have students working at festivals, at live events, shadowing tour managers, working at record labels, working at publishing companies, sync companies. Again, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and through the contacts that I have through myself, through Business Link and the Industry Cube, and as we sort of open up channels, you know, we're opening up great channels of communication with SoundCloud at the moment, PRS and PPL. PRS and PPL have been recently into our Birmingham campus and done a presentation on the importance of registration for both PRS and PPL. So there's a wide range of experience and opportunities there. A comment from Thibaut in Paris. Hey Tebow, good to see you, or good to see you. I hope you can see me. I can't see you, obviously, but I hope you're well. More questions coming as well. Would you say streaming has a significant impact on songwriters? James Collins. James Collins, you're either around the corner from us or you're at home in Ruislip at the moment. One of our good students. Yes, streaming has made a significant impact on songwriters in the fact that over the past 2 years, the income from the streaming itself has bailed the record industry out. You'll see that every time you see a report, the billions of dollars that streaming is generating through streaming is quite incredible. And again, this can be done on the major side, but also on the independent side. Independent artists can now get millions and multiple millions of streams by building their profiles, by getting their names out there, by doing all the hard work. So yes, streaming has had a significant impact on songwriters from a profile point of view and definitely from a financial point of view. Is it more beneficial to be your publisher than to be signed by one? I'm just trying to work that out. It might be more beneficial to be your publisher than to be signed by one. I think what you're getting at there is if you control your own copyright. If you don't have a publishing deal, you're effectively copyright control, which means that you can do that. But the advantages of working with a publisher is to ensure that all your registrations are done correctly with the correct rights societies, that all of the administration, especially around the world, is collected to the maximum potential. But also on a creative side, trying to get sync opportunities and features and collaborations with other artists. A publisher is really important for that. And publishers come in all shapes and sizes. Again, you get the major publishers, you get big independent publishers like Cobalt, but you also get great boutique publishers as well. You look at companies like Touchtones Music and Communion Publishing as well. They've got a small roster and they're very focused and they're very effective. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more questions. What I wanted to say is, look, thank you for all your questions. And I say, look, if you are interested in coming to ACM to study at ACM at any of the campuses, do contact admissions on the number or on the web link below, or attend an open day, and we'd love to see you and explain and justify why it's important that you study here and work with us for your aspirational path beyond your studies. Thank you very much, have a good evening and take care.